that's the only job you can do. Normally, that's a clause that I cannot work elsewhere. The part-time job is called moonlighting, where you take up some kind of a job, although like, let's say I'm working in an office. In the evening, I'm good at mathematics or English or some subject. I take up some tuition. Okay. Or I am in a lowly salary, lowly position, and I need to run a family. So I take a full-time job and try to, on the side, take a part-time job, maybe drive a taxi or whatever. Okay, so that's part-time. The gig job is a series of part-time jobs. It's 3, 4, 5 jobs together. You know, and you play around with them, juggle around with them. Normally, gig jobs at a educated level is aided by the net, by technology. So the investment really is into your laptop and all the other accessories that would make you highly net enabled. Dependent on net or dependent on the technology are many of these jobs. However, I'm still saying that any contract worker, for instance, like I told you, a mason, he might be simultaneously working here and in another place. So he does 8 hours here, then goes somewhere else and works there, another 8 hours. That also is a form of gig working. So that used to exist. You know, at least in countries like India, there are maids who are earning more than sometimes a clerk in a private office or a government office, because they go and work in 5, 6, 7 homes. Okay. The only bad part of the gig working is that there is completely no job security. Okay. Number one. Number two, they, at the moment, laws are not there in any country which takes care of their welfare. For instance, Provident Fund, etc., etc. And this has been the normal practice so far, even before we coined the word gig economy. A maidservant, a rickshaw puller, or these people don't have any kind of other security. So they earn what they earn, they eat what they eat, and for their old age, they save what they save. So that now what is happening is that a lot of governments have started thinking about it, that because this is the way things are moving. In fact, the world leader in this is United States. And you'd be surprised to know the number 2 country in the world after that is India. Because this is what the youth wants. You know, they don't want to run a rat race. We all know whoever is working in the corporate world or even the government circle, there are a lot of politics, there are a lot of, you know, carpet pulling, etc., etc. They don't want to get into all that. They want to do their job, have a great time, enjoy what they are doing, and move out. Okay, and that's the Gen Z for you and Gen Z anywhere in the world, and I'm sure it would be the same in Bangladesh. Now, another thing that is very important, given the fact that if we have to, and if large portion of the youth are going to go into gig economy, is skills required of an entrepreneur. They are now like businessmen. You know, when we started working, we sold our services or we rented out our services to companies. Now it's none of that. It's you rent out on short-term basis. It's like a hotel where you go and take a room on rent, and then you get out and then somebody else comes in. So that's what is the danger. So unless the youth develop an entrepreneurial spirit of negotiation, of adaptation, of quickly moving through the trends, staying updated. And the most important thing is, if you are not the very best, you are no one. So that is why, I mean, we have been talking about this, Mr. Abdin, that now the days of mediocrity are over. And you cannot be an expert everywhere. So it is best to focus on one particular aspect and be the best in the world. And then the world is yours. So the message that I would like to give to the youth of Bangladesh, don't have to be expert in everything, don't have to be, but whatever you're doing, whatever is the thing in which you are good, become the best. And that has to be driven by the passion of the person. It can't be just plain what we call skill development. It can't be just going to the MBA college, although I'm teaching there. It can't be that. That's only a path. But how you drive, you can be a Michael Schumacher or you can be just an ordinary driver. That's the difference that this gig economy is going to bring for the youth everywhere, particularly Bangladesh.
So
and
exactly.
I say that for Bangladesh because you have now charted out a very admirably fast growing economy. And unless some attention is paid by, the powers that be in Bangladesh, which is not only the government, but even the corporate bodies and corporate associations, etc., you might again miss the bus.
Sir, thank you. You have clearly differentiated among full-time, part-time, and gig jobs. I think once in maybe 20 years ago, while a graduate got a government job, I mean civil service, it was like nothing. So it was the best. By the emergence of corporate world, then while someone got a job in a multinational company or even in a local corporate house, then it is the best. So now you are saying that corporate job, government job, and other, that will be overlapped by gig jobs. You give some examples as well.
Yeah,
Sir,
see,
please.
I'll tell you, many, government jobs were the best because there was extreme security, job security, there was pension and all those kind of stuff. Many governments across the world are now pulling the carpet from those securities. In fact, there's a huge debate going on as to why can't a government officer or a government servant be given a pink slip. The economy change and then redundancy happens. And so in private sector, we remove them. Okay, we give them a pink slip. We tell them, okay, here is your severance package and go. Now, if the governments are thinking about it, then that means they also want to become lean, mean machines. Most of the governments around the world now would like to get out of business. Now, if they want to do that, many of the government servants will be laid redundant, particularly in the South Asian economies. So therefore, government job is losing its sheen for the youngsters. Now, the private sector also is, after COVID, they have realized that this can be done. Earlier, there was probably a suspicion that the youngsters, if we allow them to work from home, work won't happen. But that was not so. It proved the other way around. It proved the McGregor's X and Y theory, that people do want to work. They want to work genuinely and make money and not just play the fool. So there you are. That is what is exciting people. And now look at your generation and mine, sir. We are probably in the same generation. Look at a generation above that. Okay. That time, we were all ruled by a foreign power. Okay. And it was a fight for survival, to reach out to some place, get some respectability. That's what probably my grandfather did. My father, then the independences, both countries came and we started looking at how we can get that, consolidate that prestige, etc. Okay. Your generation and mine have consolidated that. And now we are not bothered about those things that had happened at that time. Okay. We are more bothered about how to gain enough money to fend for our family, look after our children. And we have provided houses, we have provided all those kind of stuff. So the next generation is looking for freedom. They don't want to be harnessed. So the gig economy fits in very well. And whichever